Good morning and welcome to our show today, Embracing Change. Do you recognize when you need to change something? Are you afraid of change? Have you ever heard the saying, when one door closes, another one opens? Hi, I'm Miss Chrissy D with the PMK Files, your emergency kit to life. And this is Darlene Turner with Victim to Victory. And together, we're the perspective.
Hi, everyone. Wow, those are some pretty loaded questions to ask ourselves. And right now, we think about it, everything is in a huge state of change worldwide. So how do we realize what needs to change in our life? Maybe we have a lot of things showing up that need changing. And how do we realize it? And then how do we embrace that change? So this is going to be a powerful show for you. Last week, we talked about patterns and realizing patterns and what are we learning from these patterns, and then so that we can overcome them and create change in our life. So yesterday, I had a realization of a pattern I do, and I wanted to share it with you. I tend to commit or make a promise to people, I'm going to do this for you and help you out with that because it feels good in my heart to do that. And then the day unfolds and I get busy and I run low of energy, and all of a sudden this good thing that I wanted to do feels like an obligation and it feels heavy. And so then I'm coming at it from a empty cup, really. So instead of filling up my cup or being able to, well, maybe another day, I tend to try and follow through because it's a promise and it becomes an obligation.
I do that. I can totally relate to that. I've done that my whole life. And you kill yourself. You put yourself out there for people. And at the end of it, they don't appreciate it a lot of the time. And you end up with nothing except you're exhausted and you haven't taken care of yourself. So for me, that's what it's like when the universe, God, higher being, whatever you want to call it, sends you these little signs, a little tap on the head that goes, you need to change that. A little something will happen in your life and you need to look at it. And if you don't, the tap gets harder and harder till, like in my case, my whole life was ripped out from under me. It was like this huge whack on the head, and I had no choice but to look at it and change it, which goes back to what we were talking about last week about our filing system. My filing system was, I wasn't good enough to do it for me. I'm here to help everybody else instead. So now I have to physically get rid of that file in my head and replace it with, I am good enough, I am worthy, and I do make a difference.
Definitely, you are worthy and you do make a difference, Miss Chrissy D. I think a lot of us can relate to that unworthy belief. I know I definitely can. From my experience, like you said, sometimes life just keeps happening, giving us a harder tap in our head or whatever it is to, come on, you need to change this, you need to change this. And a lot of times it might show up as chronic pain or disease, or like you say, your whole life falls apart. So in my first marriage, I just want to share this experience with you. I had many signs that I needed to leave. There were many times when I really feared for my life. And it came down, I stayed 17 years, as I said, but it came down to this one night where I was so terrified that I couldn't leave the room to protect my oldest daughter when he was on an attack against her. Um, and so in that fear and in that terror, I realized and I found that courage. This is it. There's no staying now. We have to go. And that was my realization. And so I was able the next day to just pack up our stuff and we left. But that pattern tends to repeat itself.
Because that's our file.
Yeah.
That's what we know.
So then I went into the second marriage, and that was another 10 years. It looked different and different person and that, but that pattern was still playing out. And this time when I had my realization of self-respect and self-love and my value and how I had built my life on fear, it just changed everything. I did it for myself. And then, like you said, my life crumbled away, but in a really good way. So yeah.
It's that, it's what our life is built on. And when we have all this discord in our life and we don't feel good enough, our structure is faulty, and everything that we try to build, doesn't matter how hard we work, whether it's at our job or with our family, our friends, or our volunteer work, essentially it's still all built on a faulty foundation. So it's never going to be strong and healthy, no matter how much we change and think, oh, well, I'll just do it. We have to change that foundation and build it strong from the ground up.
Yeah. So that's that piece that we wanted to talk about, of what keeps you comfortable. Like, what keeps you stuck is that comfort. As uncomfortable as it is being in it, it's still your comfort bubble is all you know. That keeps you stuck. Yeah. What else keeps you stuck is thinking you don't have a choice. I'm afraid of the unknown or afraid of change. And oh, right. I was wanting to mention this too. Is you accept your fate at that point. It's just like, this is what life's dealt me, so that's it. There's just no going forward from here, and you're just in survival.
I have no choice. I'll just make the best of it. I know that one.
Yeah. And it takes courage and vulnerability to walk through this. You have to walk through that wall or that comfort bubble that you've created to step past that. And the vulnerability comes in of the unknown and not knowing what's on the other side. So it looks kind of messy in the middle of all this when, like we talked about, your life kind of crumbling away and the structure and, I'm not saying it's easy. It is tough, and it
feels like death. It feels like death. It's horrible.
Yes, but within that death, it's like we said, when one door shuts, another door opens. And when we're in the middle of it, we might not see this other door until we actually get through it. And then we can see, oh, well, there's the opening, or there's the new door for me. But we're always showing one step at a time. We're always showing something we can do. Yeah. So should I share some tips with you, or some steps to help everyone?
Let's hear.
Okay. So the first one is realizing what needs to change in your life. And choose two things. One that you can do immediately, that you can work on to change something immediate. And the other one, a long-term one that you can work towards. Pardon me. And then what I want you to do is create a list of what that will look like when it's all done, that change that you're trying to create that vision of what that would look like, and put in lots of feeling into that. How would that feel? Because like I said, you probably don't have that full picture of what that would look like, but when we can put in feelings, I'm going to have a peaceful life. I'm going to, find true love, a job that's fulfilling and promising, or whatever that is, then, you're bringing in that feeling for attracting that to you. And my second tip is take one step toward that change. What can you do? A little baby step even, or it could be a big step, but just taking those beginning steps to look at it. What little thing or big thing that I can do to take towards that? So for me, I talked about my pattern this morning of, over promising myself and wanting to do something for other people, and then finding I'm too depleted to fulfill that promise or that commitment. So what I'm going to do is, before I give away my time or my space or make these promises and commitments, I'm going to have a really look at my day. What does my day look like? Do I have time to do this for somebody else? Is my plate already full? And taking it the next step from that is like, okay, I've made this promise, my day is unfolded and I've gotten busy. Maybe I could find a little time in there just for self-care, to have a bath or something to fill my cup up before I go help somebody else or do something for somebody else. And the third thing I can do is just tell them, no, I'm sorry, my day has unfolded, I'm really busy, can we reschedule or can we do this another time?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, because when we're busy doing for others, we're not doing for ourselves. And I've been trying to be really conscious of that. And I find now I have a lot more energy. I'm taking care of myself. And within that time for myself, I have time to be grateful for this great new life that I have. It really makes a difference. We don't have to do everything. And, the other thing I want to say to people, our listeners, that know that change is going to be horrible. The situation that you're in right now, we have to be strong to endure being on that rocky foundation that just is never going to come to fruition. So we are courageous, we are brave, and we can do it. We really can. So, yeah. Couple things. We have a new perspective page on Facebook with Darlene Turner and Miss Chrissy B. So please go and hit like, and you will have access to all of our previous shows and access to more support. And as we go along, we'll put more up there that we feel will help our listeners. So, and one other quick note, next Sunday is Thanksgiving. So enjoy it with your family and your friends. We will see you the following week when we're going to talk about sabotaging ourselves, and that will be on October 18th. So in keeping with our short and sweet, because we want everybody to have time to watch us, please come and join us the following Sunday and every Sunday at 10 o'clock for the new perspective on trauma, abuse, chronic pain, and the steps to a thriving and healthy life. We'll see you next time.
Bye, everyone.